Welcome to International Securities Exchange's podcast series. Facilitated by renowned educators, ISE podcasts are intended to teach beginning as well as seasoned investors the ins and outs of trading. To find an updated list of podcasts, please visit www.ise.com/podcasts. Please be sure to listen to our important message following this episode regarding the risks of investing in exchange-traded options.
Let's go back to the questions. We have a couple more minutes. Why don't we take a couple questions, and I'm going to combine them and say, okay, so we're going to look at number 11. FX trading seems difficult. Is it worth it? And Ilian, I want to start with you. And then are FX options as volatile as FX spots? So if you can actually combine both of those to try to get most of these questions, I'd appreciate it, Ilian. So why don't we start with you first?
I would first have to say that it's definitely worth it. It's not going to be a get-rich-quick kind of a situation, so be prepared for a lot of hard work as far as learning the basics and how the markets work. And especially with trading currencies, you have to be on top of not only political events, geopolitical events, but also fundamental events like economic releases, yield differentials between interest rates, et cetera, inflation numbers, gross domestic product, economic growth numbers, et cetera. So you have to put the necessary time and effort to learn these basics and also apply some of the things that we were talking about earlier as far as using some technical indicators to your advantage, pay attention to price developments, et cetera. But with the trading currencies, you get a lot of leverage, you get a lot of bang for your buck, and that also is great, but it could be a double-edged sword as well. So, I find that there's a lot more pros rather than cons as far as currency trading is concerned. So I might be biased, but...
Well, you've been best about it, so that makes sense. Raghee, why don't you take a stab?
Sure. As far as it is difficult. There's no doubt about it. But I think more so than ever, if we don't take charge of our financial future, whether that be via trading, and while I don't think trading is necessarily, quite frankly, for everybody, I do believe investing is. And you can still take an investor's mentality and utilize these tools. I mean, Forex is just a stock of a country. The pair, the currency is just a stock of a country. So I think that it's kind of a necessity. I always tell my college professors and even my high school teachers, I live in the town that I grew up in and still see them. I say, when are we going to start teaching kids this from a young age? Why is it that they have to be an adult before they start understanding how the market works? Because it's going to impact them their entire lives well into retirement. So I think it's worth it. It's not just worth it, it's required. I think everyone needs to do this because, again, it's part of taking charge of your financial future. As far as the options and the volatility versus spot, I look at it regarding options versus spot as the right tool for the right job. If I'm looking at an option, I'm looking to capitalize to buy this option during a low volatility time in a pair or in a market that does have volatility. Now, Forex has volatility. It's just a matter of when it's going to rear its head again. I mean, tick-tock, it's going to come. So if I can find a quiet time in a pair, like this past summer, daily chart trading, for those of you that might have been trading end-of-day charts, probably was pretty trying because unless you're playing inside the range, shorting the ceiling, buying the floor, and a lot of the ranges in the majors, you're probably very frustrated with trying to break down those trades in a momentum fashion. So when you have these quiet times, these sideways markets, to me, that's when I try to capitalize on grabbing those options, buying them during low volatility, and then selling them during the higher volatility. So to me, know the right tool for the right job. In low volatility time, I may not want to sit inside a spot, inside the spot, inside the lot, and just take the ebb and flow that comes with that. I'd rather hop into an option. So to me, it goes back to surprise, the market cycle, and what tool in this case would be best to capitalize on that cycle.
Wow, that's It just makes a lot of sense, Raghee. It really does. In fact, I even love that the answer to your first part of the question about college professors. It's really true that a lot of us went through school and they didn't really teach investments, and it really makes sense because you need to understand that the amount of money you save is going to bring you towards retirement, and of course generating income if you can, or not only income, but try not to lose money. As some people do, they end up having a very profitable business, whatever they do, and losing a lot of it. So it's the idea that both are important: earning money and saving it, and actually hoping and making it grow. But that's why, again, Raghee and Ilian are here. You can go to their website and check out Raghee.com, allthingsforex.com. They have a lot to offer, so I'd urge all of you to go to their website. I see a question from Daniel, and it's a question really for me, although if you guys want to chime in, that's great. Daniel says, how can you generate consistent income safely with FX options? And the one thing that I'm thinking, that, and I can't really say safely anything really, but one strategy, if you're looking to bring in income, you can always sell options. But I never recommend selling options naked. So what I would say is selling call and put spreads. Or if you wanted to have a direction, you could sell call spreads or put spreads. But a lot of people like to do both, and it's called selling iron condors, which would be selling an out-of-the-money call spread and a put spread. And if I go back to I'm going to give you an example. If I go back and look at the U.S. dollar, Canadian dollar, if we were smart enough to forecast a U.S. dollar, Canadian dollar range of, let's say, 98 to 102 from December through July, you could have been selling, let's say, the 97, 95 put spread and maybe the 103, 105 call spread, and you could have earned a significant amount of money during that period of time. Now, that being said, when the market breaks out, of course, you're going to lose money. So that you want to think about what's my risk, what's my reward, and I'm just giving you one strategy to bring in income. There are a lot of strategies out there. In fact, there are probably thousands of option strategies. So selling iron condors is just one for those of you that are looking to sell options. For those of you who like to buy options, I think that Ilian was talking about, maybe looking at his quarter point theory. His quarter point theory makes a lot of sense. If you were buying the lower strike and selling the higher strike, he's sort of saying that it probably won't break that above that strike price. So a vertical spread would make a lot of sense also. But there are a lot of different ways to trade the options market. And, when you're trading FX, you could use just about all the same strategies that you would use trading the equity options market. There isn't any best strategy, and really there isn't any, I guess I'm getting a question from Andreas, do you prefer to buy or sell options? That's really a personal choice. Ilian, Raghee, do you guys want to comment on that at all? Or, at least from my view, I'm indifferent. I actually tend to lean a little bit towards buying of options, but I recognize that there's no definite answer there.
Raghee?
Sure. When it comes to what your choice to focus solely on options, my advice is, again, I think that there is a particular market environment, a particular market cycle that really does well with options. And to me, if you're selling options, you love those sideways markets, and if you're buying them, you want to buy them during a sideways market and hopefully profit on them when the volatility increases and they break out. So to me, that's the way I kind of look at it, going back to, again, the right tool for the right job.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. To find more podcasts on options, stocks, alternative markets, and market data, please visit www.ise.com/podcasts.